What's going on, guys? It's Luke22SV here, and welcome back to the Career Mode today, here for the final round of Season 2 for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And we're in quite a good form as well at the moment, with 3 consecutive podiums, finishing first in Mexico, second in USA, and Brazil as well. We came second, and just coming into the final round, another bogey track, but if we'd done well at USA, we could probably do well at Abu Dhabi, considering that's probably one of our worst tracks too. So that being said, it's just one round left to go. Nothing really to play for in terms of drivers now that we've lost out to Valtteri Bottas, but the constructors, we can still finish in 4th place. So I think we're at level 1 points with McLaren heading into this race. So all we have to do is just finish ahead of them in the points, and we should be more than happy to finish 4th. Although finishing 4th for Red Bull is not really much of an achievement. I think we're behind Alfa and Ferrari as well. So yeah, we've lost out to Alfa this season, thanks to Weber and myself. In the first half of the season, Stroll's got about like 2 points since he's replaced me there. So heading into qualifying, yeah, it's not going to be our favourite track, of course, but it's the final round of this season, and hopefully we can just look forward to Season 3 now. This is pretty much a nothing episode, really. So here's our first lap then. We're currently on our first lap, and we're coming towards the end of Sector 2, end of Sector 3, and a big mistake which leaves us with front wing damage and reversing out there. So already on the back foot with a mistake. So yeah, now moving on to our last flying lap. We're currently in P18, so that mistake really has put us on the back foot. We only really do 2 qualifying attempts in this in this career mode. I really do one at the start of the session and one at the end. After that mistake we made, we ended up putting in a lap with a broken front wing. So yeah, we're already down in first sector though. So first sector of that lap was actually quite decent, apparently, even though we had front wing damage. So we must have just had a poor sector here, but we're still trying to improve. So perhaps this lap's not going to put us into a position where we are actually on the pace. So maybe this lap isn't as good as it could be. So wherever we end up, we should be further up the order really. So let's have a look then. Going through sector 2, currently 7 attempts up on our previous lap time, so this should move us up the order a lot. I mean, our teammates on pole position, so that's where we should be, and we're currently a few attempts down on our teammates. So yeah, it shows that this track is really not one of our strong ones. It's a really poor track, to be honest, but because of the twilight and everything else, it's for some reason the last race of the calendar, and yeah, a very underwhelming track and underwhelming race as well. I think the only really good race I can remember being 2012. There's quite a lot of action that day, to be fair, but I can't really have any other rememberable races. Only 2014 and 2016, because they were championship deciders, but then again they weren't exactly epic title deciders in the end. We crossed the line though, and it's going to be for the final time this season. It's P9, so yeah, we didn't do ourselves too much justice in that qualifying session, but we should be at Red Bull next season. We've had terrific form. We've actually been beating Max Verstappen as well, until this race at least, particularly in the races. Apart from USA, of course, he won that race, but Red Bull are looking really strong heading in towards Season 3. So if we're still with Red Bull next season, we could be in a title fight, which is what we were hoping for. Since we've had our first couple of wins this season, and well, hoping to end it on a high in Abu Dhabi, although starting from 9th on the grid is not going to be an easy one. But if we can continue our podium forms, that would be lovely. But although I don't think it's too likely, considering our pace isn't too great around here, although we said the same thing in USA, and look what happened there. So here we go then, onto the final grid order for Season 2. Let's have a look at the grid order, and I think it was Max Verstappen on pole position. So that just shows how much the pace of this car's improved. Leclerc actually getting a good result for Ferrari, who've had a bit of a difficult season. Lucas Weber up there in 3rd, alongside Hamilton. Norris and Stroll actually doing okay. Danny Kvyat ahead of us, so we're in P8 then. So Magnussen ahead of Vettel, with Russell and Bottas with the penalty. Butler, Hulkenberg, Albon, Sergio Perez ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, Antonio Giovinazzi, Pierre Gasly, and Carlos Sainz rounding off the grid. So for the final time in Season 2, we're going to be coming underway for those 5 red lights. You see Lando Norris is 5th, so I think Devon Butler's a little bit further back. So as we head for those 5 red lights to go away, and we're away in Abu Dhabi, So the final time of season 2, and it's a poor start for Vettel, getting a good start behind us, a long way behind his teammate in qualifying. So we head into turn 1, keeping hold of our position. So still in P8 off the start, and now we're looking to chase after Lance Stroll. Thanks to our teammate who's actually on pole. We're currently in pole position to actually take P4 in a championship, and we took out a P7 and P6 in one corner, and almost running into the side of Lando Norris. Of course, many instances this season have happened with those McLaren guys, particularly when I was in the Alfa Romeo. It was a lot of races, almost happened so often that it was almost like you'd expect it every race. But now, coming onto the main straight that we see overtaking on, we've got Lance Stroll on the inside of us, trying to retake P6 away from us. So he dives down the inside. We're on the outside line. I'm going to keep hold of P6 for the time being. So we're moving on, and onto the next DRS straight that we've got here. So the 2 overtaking spots on this track, really. And Stroll trying to get past us again. So we head into the next chicane with a little bit of contact there. But he's still behind us. So keeping hold of P6 then for the time being on lap 1. And there's going to be no replays as well in this one. I'm just going to go all footage, and I can explain that now. Is that it's just been very busy at the moment, so getting episodes done is obviously I haven't been uploading as consistently as I would have liked to, and yeah, I'm just trying to get season 2 out of the way now. A lot of things have been going on, so YouTube hasn't really taken too much of a priority at the moment, but that's okay. I've not exactly got the hugest fan base that are waiting for my videos to come out anyway. So we cross the line to end lap 1, and we're currently at P6, so we'll move on to lap 2 then, and trying to chase old Lando Norris. We're currently gained 2 places off the start then on Stroll, and I think it was a Williams as well, so Danny Kvyat as well, who started quite well. He's had a good qualifying there for the Williams, who've been a bit hit and miss as well this season. Of course, we've seen Russell on the podium, and I think that was in Monaco, and Kvyat's scored a few points here and there. Not sure if he's scored too many though. I think Russell's got most of the points for the Williams team, but now on lap 2 we're still trying to chase old Lando Norris, but he's sort of getting away from us a little bit here. So maybe at the moment the best we can hope for is perhaps P6. I think we're pulling away from Stroll, although on this straight you can see he's closing in a little bit, but heading into the chicane, we're still trying to follow Lando Norris. So moving on to lap 3 then, DRS now enabled. We're sort of similar gap to Norris now, although we're not really in a spot where we could probably overtake him unless we can get DRS and close in. But then again, he's probably in a spot where he could get DRS2 on the car in front of him, which is a Mercedes as well. And funnily enough, the Mercedes have not been too strong in the races recently, which is also a good sign heading towards season 3 rather, with Red Bull and McLaren, Ferrari as well doing okay now. I think, well, particularly Leclerc, he's actually up there fighting for the win. Lucas Weber as well, he's always up there. It seems to be a one-man team in the Alfa Romeo for whatever reason. Stroll not being able to do well. He's probably doing about as well as I would have in some of these races as well. But look at that, we actually closed in a lot on Lando Norris there. He doesn't seem to have DRS, so this could be an easy prey move, an unexpected move almost at the start of lap 3. We were not really too close to him. That DRS has helped us a lot there and moved us up into P5. So moving up the order slowly, and you can see the top 4 is actually ahead of us. So Hamilton, and then of course you can see I think it's Lucas Weber and Max Verstappen as well, and then I think it is not Devon Button, Charles Leclerc. So there's the top 4, all very close to each other. Now Hamilton, the Drivers' Champion of Season 2, will be a little bit confused to see Mercedes not winning as much as everyone else. Everyone started to catch up to Mercedes finally at the end of Season 2. So Season 3 could be quite a good season, I hope, if Red Bull can turn it on as well. We've brought a lot of upgrades, and we're going to have a lot of upgrades going towards in the next season as well. So we move on to lap 5 then, and at the moment you can see that Verstappen's lost a couple of places then since he started this race. So Leclerc and Lucas Weber are fighting for the win here, which has just showed how good of a season Lucas Weber has had, really, because the Alpha's not really been too far up the R&D in terms of where it is in the chart. Really, it's normally about 5th or 4th best at the moment. So if he's winning with the 4th best car, then he must be on some sort of power there to actually manage to get up that high. I mean, Stroll's struggled since he's joined Alpha. We didn't really make too much of an impact at Alpha. We got a few second places in the first half of the season for him, but we were normally putting damage in the car more than we were actually finishing the races, to be honest. We had all those DNFs at the start of the season, 3 DNFs in the first 6 races, so actually we've had a pretty solid season since then, not having any DNFs I don't think, but we did have a lot of incidents. But now we can see Leclerc and Verstappen fighting, which has allowed us to close in a lot here on Hamilton, and Lucas Weber's pulled off into the lead, so Weber doing a very handy job at the moment. He's pulling off into the lead. Leclerc is second, so Verstappen trying to fight with Leclerc. We dive down the inside of Hamilton, make a little bit of contact there as we get past him on the inside. A brave move down the inside, but a bit of contact was made. No one was forced off the track though, so a legal move, and we're up to 4th place. And now our next target is our teammate, so we'd ideally want to clean a move on our teammate if we were to make the move, but he's going to have DRS on Leclerc. And well, now moving on to lap 6, as we're going to be pitting at the end of this lap. So we've seen we've actually fallen back a little bit from our teammate as he goes around for one more lap with the first Red Bull into the pit. So we've actually could be in a contention for a good result here, potentially a podium. We see Leclerc pitting now, so it's between Red Bull and Ferrari in this pit stop window. Can we get a... Well, no, it doesn't. We won't even bother asking that question. Leclerc still ahead of us then, but we'll come out of the pits then behind Leclerc, so he's going to be our target. If we can get past him, that would be perfect really. But yeah, that's pretty much who we have to get past if we want a podium today, because it looks like Lucas Weber could be in the box seat to win this race. And yeah, we'll ignore what we just did there. We're crossing the pit exit line. I was a bit absent-minded, but you can see there just ahead of us, Leclerc's managed to get ahead of Giovinazzi, which has not helped us out too much. If Leclerc got held up by Giovinazzi, we probably could have Leclerc on this straight, or maybe the next straight. But yeah, Leclerc's got away with that. He's actually pulled off a little bit in the last couple of corners really. He's gained a lot of time on us for some reason. So we've lost a bit of time to Leclerc. You can see he's gained a few seconds now by the looks of it on us, just in the last few sectors. So for whatever reason we've just lost a bit of the pace here. So yeah, it seems to happen in a lot of these races. We tend to have a poor out lap compared to the AI and a poor in lap as well. So we're not feeling too confident at the moment. We think Verstappen will probably stay ahead of us as well, and he'll probably hope that as well, considering he's not got a priority pit stop over us for whatever reason that is. But now chasing Antonio Giovinazzi, is he going to hold us up at all? It's difficult to make a move around this section of the track, but we make a move down the inside, and that time it wasn't so clean. But teammate is in the pits though. We didn't manage to get away without damaging our front wing. We don't know if we damaged Giovinazzi's, but it's irrelevant anyway. He's not fighting with us. He's fighting for about 19th place, I'd imagine, in that dog of a car, Renault. But here we go. We crossed the line then to start lap 8. Setting a purple sector 3 and actually overtaking Giovinazzi. So turning on the car a little bit there, we've got a bit of pace, and you can see just to the right of your screen just a moment ago, Verstappen coming out of the pits, and we're actually ahead of Max Verstappen at the moment. So we're up into P4, Verstappen is down to P5. So yeah, we've managed to undercut Verstappen in the pits, so the undercuts worked for us. Verstappen will not be happy about that at all. Yeah, despite being the #1 driver, we managed to get priority pit stop there, and that's helped us out big time in getting out ahead of Max Verstappen, up into P4 now. So we're actually up into a podium position now with Leclerc and Weber ahead of us, and should be one more car yet to stop as well, unless Hamilton, well actually Hamilton's behind us as well. He pitted it on the same lap as us, so I don't know where Hamilton's actually gone now. I think he's gone a little bit backwards in this race, so Mercedes lacking a bit of pace on this final race of the season. Bottas with the penalty, so he can be a little bit further down the order, but yeah, it looks like Lucas Weber's going to secure second in the driver standings as well. So Bottas secured third in the last race, which is unfortunate. We had that charge through the pack from last on the grid. Maybe if we started further forward, we may have won that race and been in contention to beat Valtteri Bottas in the last race of the season. But unfortunately, fourth is what we're going to have to settle for in this Drivers' Championship. But hopefully next season we'll be able to go for first. Straight off the bat, we'll have a decent car to start off with the season. Last season we just didn't have the best sort of car with Alfa Romeo, didn't have the best start either. So yeah, well this season actually we didn't have the best start with all the incidents that happened, particularly in Australia qualifying. We actually binned it in the wall, but actually you can see Lucas Weber has only just come out of the pits and he's on hard tyres, and he's out just ahead of us. So he's managed to get out ahead of us, but he's only just pitted and he's lost the lead to Leclerc. So Weber had the lead of this race and now he's lost it. So I don't know what strategy Alfa are playing here, but that's played right into Leclerc's hand, and we're now right on the back of Lucas Weber. So this is our chance to take advantage of Lucas Weber on these cold tyres, also hard tyres as well, and he's only going to need to be on them for 5 laps, which doesn't make any sense why he's come in to pit so late and put on the harder tyres, but we're not going to complain too much about that. That's probably one of the reasons why we're probably better off now that we've left Alfa. That was probably not the best strategy to go for, although maybe his tyres will be a little bit more fresher towards the end, but actually Lucas Weber seemed to have DRS on Leclerc there, so we weren't able to make a move on Lucas Weber, but now we're going to have to settle. But look at that, look at the exit we got through the chicane, diving down the inside. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone make an overtake there, but yeah, we just made the overtake on Leclerc, and now up into a provisional P2 and a current P3, so you can see just down the road there's a racing point there that's yet to stop, so that will be in the pits hopefully soon enough, although maybe if it stays out for an extra couple of laps, we would like it to hold up Leclerc. That would do us a lot of help, but into the pits it goes. So yeah, that's not going to happen unfortunately. We have to get past Leclerc on our own, unaided thanks to the Racing Point pitting there of Ricciardo. But chasing Leclerc, and can we win this race from P8? Another race that we've managed to do quite well in, and a race that I wouldn't expect to have done well in. It's really not a race that I enjoy too much. Just like USA, we managed to finish second, and we could have even won that race if we didn't have the gearbox issues that we suffered in that race, and exceeding track limits there. We were just over the curb. It wasn't really too bad what we just did there. So coming on to the back straight, then we're going to have DRS activated, but Leclerc looks a long way ahead, so whether we can catch up to him, it looks like it's almost a bit doubtful, but closing in and closing in and closing in all the time. Are we going to get close enough to make the move down the inside of Leclerc? We're a long way back and just about making the move down the inside. What a move that was into the lead of this race, and what a move on Leclerc. A little bit of contact as well. We actually get a warning for that, but there was a gap there. We dived down the inside. Last of the late breakers. That's a Daniel Ricciardo-esque move. He'd done plenty of those in the Red Bull, and yeah, well, there we go. We've done one ourselves, and a race move you have to make if you want to win this race. And I didn't know how many opportunities we would get to actually make a move on Leclerc, because he was still starting to pull away and we didn't have that much ERS, so we didn't know whether we'd be able to make the move. And well, Leclerc will have to try and fight back now. But yeah, there we go. This is going well, and actually it looks like we're starting to pull away as well. I don't know if Leclerc received any front wing damage there, but we dived down the inside very late. He did turn in, as the AI tend to do on this game. But moving on then, there's just 2 laps left to go. We've got a nice little gap to Leclerc, so this looks pretty promising to end the season on a high, as we started it on a low. In Australia, we've had all the difficulties at the start with Alpha, the DNFs, the race that I lost as well. I lost to Fuji in Monaco, which was quite frustrating. It was actually quite an interesting race, and then I ended up DNFing, but we ended up improving from there. Had a decent result in Canada, I think, and then came to the races after. I think we had a few good results in Silverstone, and then Germany, and then Hungary was the race where it all went wrong, and ended up losing our seat to Toro Rosso, and performed well straight off the bat for Toro Rosso, and then won in Monza for Toro Rosso. Got promoted to Red Bull, swapping with Gasly in Japan, and then yeah, had our debut race in Japan. We didn't really do too well, and then came to Mexico, won the Mexican Grand Prix, came to USA, came second, and then came second in Brazil, and now in Abu Dhabi we look set to win this race, and Leclerc is second, Verstappen is third. So going to end the season with Red Bull on a massive high, and definitely going to be fourth in the constructors after this race. Hulkenberg's out of this race, and well, hopefully we can see some good transfers towards the next season as well, and we'll have you updated as well if there is any good transfers, and then we'll see what the order looks like for season 3 as well. So next episode will potentially be the similar thing to what I did at the start of season 2, although I may try and do it a little bit differently so it looks a bit better, but who knows, we may just go straight into season 3, depending on how everything looks towards next season as well. So as we come around on this last lap, we're going to come onto this back straight for the one last time, and then onto the next straight for one last time. It's a pretty boring track, this is, but we don't have to race this for another 21 races, which is ideal, and then we can just come around to Australia, which is a nice track. We did not do too well there last season, well, this season, yeah, but I think we did actually have a decent race. It was a decent recovery from where we ended up being after the incident in qualifying, but hopefully we start next season on a high and we'll be able to compete for that championship, and then hopefully we'll have our first championship and end Mercedes domination as it's continued through onto this game and onto this career mode. And yeah, Hamilton's won this championship convincingly, but in these last few races Red Bull have been the best team, I'd say, thanks to the upgrades that we put on the car, and we're going to have plenty of upgrades going forward into next season, but so will everyone else. And I guess with these rule changes, which is pretty much non-existent ones, they're just the durability ones, which mean absolutely nothing, we should see, well, an interesting season with just pretty much the development on this season. But we crossed the line then to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and end season 2, and yeah, ending it on the best way possible, starting from 8th and charging through to 1st. So fantastic result. Horner will be delighted with that, and he'll be even more delighted next season, I hope. And he looks like a PS2 character there. That, well, I don't know why the graphics are looking so bad there, but here we go. Oh, it's a Red Bull 1-2. I did not see that. So Verstappen finished in 2nd, and then Weber was 3rd. So whatever reason, Leclerc dropped off in the end. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure Leclerc was 2nd until the last lap, but I wasn't actually, well, I don't know what happened to Leclerc. He actually, well, he fell down, just ended up finishing off the podium by a 10th or so, which is weird. I don't know why that happened, but yeah, bad luck for him. He finishes ahead of Devon Butler though. Here's the final final standings of the season, finishing in 4th, and Stroll ended up moving up in the end to 15th. So 21 drivers in this season. Of course, Grosjean got the boot halfway through. We ended up the season in 4th. We weren't too far off from Ferrari and Alfa in the end, but ran out of races unfortunately. But there we go, end of season 2. I hope you enjoyed this season, those of you that have watched this, and hopefully season 3 will be even better. The first episode hopefully will be up soon. Hopefully won't wait too long, but of course things are going on at the moment. But yeah, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon for season 3, I hope.